All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. JV Wins, Dogon SS. We are here for another edition of the Conscious Approach channel on YouTube. Looking crispy as always up here on this wonderful Tuesday evening. I hope everyone is having as much of an angst-rid election night as possible. Personally, I cannot wait for this crap to be over. I am so excited for this to not be a thing anymore. I can't wait. I am channeling my inner Bart Scott right now because I cannot wait for this to be over. Shouts out to everybody tuning in on the stream, man. Conscious Approach, we are here once again. JV Wins, Dogon SS. As always, before we get into tonight's topics, I want to say go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. And as always, if this is your first time catching wind of what we like to do here on this channel, this is the flow, this is the ebb, this is the peak, this is the valley. This is what this channel is all about. So if you appreciate what we like to do and you support the logical content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and continue to engage with us for each and every topic. Let us know where we went right. Let us know where we went wrong. Let us know how much of a crazy, stupid idiot we are for some of the views that we dispense here on this channel. So with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get right into it, man. We have several interesting topics to get into tonight. The first of which we are going to discuss is, at this point, friend of the channel, Candace Owens, who took a little bit of time during a recent episode of her Candace Owens podcast to discuss how she feels about the fact that Sexyy Red proudly went onto social media to declare her support for Kamala Harris. And Sexyy Red declared her support for Kamala Harris in perhaps the most Sexyy Red way possible. So we are going to react to Candace's reaction to what Sexyy Red said specifically, and then we will, of course, give our takes on this entire dynamic in whole. So this says Candace Owens reacts to Sexyy Red voting for Kamala Harris. Earlier this week, Sexyy Red took to social media to announce that she cast her vote for Kamala Harris. I just voted. Don't tell us what to do with our coochies. Hashtag Kamala for president. She captioned a series of photos on X yesterday. The post took some fans by surprise as she previously showed her support for Harris's opponent, Donald Trump. I like Trump, she said on This Past Weekend with Theo Vaughn in 2023. Yeah, they support him in the hood. At first, I don't think people was effing with him. They thought he was racist, saying little stuff against women. But once he started getting black people out of jail and giving people that free money, oh, baby, we love Trump. We need him back in office. We need him back because, baby, them checks, them stimulus checks, Trump, we miss you. Unsurprisingly, Sexyy Red's tweet sparked mixed reactions. While some were glad to see that the Sexyy rapper had a change of heart, others were less than impressed. Recently, for example, Candace Owens shared her take on Sexyy Red's endorsement during an episode of her show, Candace. She reacted by mocking her and sarcastically claiming there's no way Donald Trump can win the election now. This isn't the first time she's gone after a rapper or even the first time she's gone after Sexyy Red. So her remarks don't necessarily come as a shock. As for Harris, she's received several celebrity endorsements in recent weeks. Yesterday, for example, Cardi B spoke at her rally in Milwaukee, which was a laughing joke. Glorilla, Flo Milli, MC Light, and more also performed. What do you think of Sexyy Red endorsing Kamala Harris? Blah, blah, blah. So here is what Candace Owens thought. So first of all, here is the post from Sexyy Red herself. So as you can see there, that's her posing, and she's got her voted stickers on her ass cheeks there. So that's very pretty classic. Yeah, very consistent with Sexyy Red behavior. Not to be unexpected. And there's the post there. As you can see, it says, I just voted. Don't tell us what to do with our coochies. Hashtag Kamala for president. So here is Candace's reaction to Miss Sexyy Red's endorsement.
You have some breaking news before I get into your comments, and it's big. I'm not gonna lie. This is a big endorsement for Kamala. It's bigger than LeBron James. I'm scared now. This election could be lost given this endorsement. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this celebrity to speak out and say to vote for Kamala. It's bigger than Taylor Swift. And the reasons listed here are actually valid. I'm now thinking about voting for Kamala. All right, guys, it's Sexyy Red. SEXYYRED. She's come out and here's what she has to say. Let's see. It's on Twitter. She just tweeted this. I just voted. Don't tell us what to do with our coochies.
Oh dear.
For president. Guys, it's over. It is over. Kamala's going to win. She's going to win. Somebody came out and said, don't tell us what to do with our coochies. And I don't see how any woman can resist that. I don't see how any man can resist that call. I think it's over. It's over now. And so we should all just hang it up. We should hang it up. I'm done with the genealogical series. Sexyy Red has taken me out. And so, ladies, you know what to do when somebody comes out and tells you what to do with your coochie or whatever. Vote for Kamala. You vote for Kamala.
That's right. And then Amber Rose, that's a cheeky little way to cap this one off. Amber Rose had a response there, but she's not really that important, so we'll move it along. So there you go. Apparently, and this also comes, of course, we read also in that article, not a year ago, back in 2023, she was talking about how much she appreciated what Trump was doing with getting black people out of jail and giving them that free money. But now she's apparently reversed course on that because she thinks Kamala is what's best in terms of not telling women what to do with their coochies. What do you make of this and Candace's response to what Sexyy Red is proclaiming here?
Well, I must say that this whole Olympic cycle, this has to be the most sideshowish, the most unserious election period I've ever witnessed myself. And this might be an all-time thing as far as how unserious this entire election cycle has been. And to cap it off with Sexyy Red, of all people, spreading cheeks, letting the world know that, well, Donald Trump or anybody else can't tell her to do with her box. And she can pop it as much as she wants and unalive as much as she wants, just as well as she please. And I must say that this is the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top for such surreal election cycle this past year. I put nothing past the Diddy-cratic party. That's what I've been calling them lately. Because honestly, everybody that's been, unmuting and giving their support lately, I mean, they have a pretty strong connection to the Grim Reaper, who's been having a lot of allegations against his name. One Usher, Jennifer Lopez came out the woodwork. What the hell was that? Like we give a damn. Beyonce, Kelly Rowlands, and now we have Sexyy Red again, spreading ass cheeks and telling us that, well, this is the way to go. And for a generation of young people that look up to Sexyy Red, because believe it or not, they're voting people who look up to Sexyy Red, and they might go and tilt over. If they were on the fence, they was like, hey, what is Sexyy Red gonna do? I'm hearing about Cardi B, I'm hearing about all of these Glorilla, but what does Sexyy Red have to say about this? And here she comes to save the day and save the Diddy-cratic party. So it wouldn't have been an election cycle without her participation. So honestly, I just think that this just caps off the sideshow that we've been witnessing all 2024 and at the latter end of 2023. This you can't script this. This is as crazy as it gets. So honestly, I'm not too surprised. What are your thoughts on Miss Sexyy Red busting it wide open for the vote? You down for this?
Similar to what you said. you know, Candace's response was tongue in cheek and very sarcastic and dismissive, which is understandable. But I think Candace would do well to remember that individuals like Sexyy Red in this climate do unfortunately carry weight. Um, as dismissive as she finds, as dismissive as she wants to be of Sexyy Red, the fact of the matter is, and it gives me no pleasure in saying this, the fact of the matter is, somewhere in America, someone saw what Sexyy Red tweeted and was motivated into action from it.
Yeah.
And and prior to seeing that tweet, they were either on the fence or leaning towards not participating. And seeing what Sexyy Red had to say galvanized that person into action. And to that individual, wherever you are in America somewhere, that individual is a facsimile for a growing sentiment throughout our population, which is to be increasingly moved and motivated by the talking points of clown shows, minstrel shows, and puppeteers. And this is not to necessarily defend one side of the political aisle, but the fact of the matter is, when I was growing up as a kid, I remember thinking to myself when I was in high school, when I was getting old, when I was approaching an age in which I was becoming old enough to vote, I remember thinking to myself, why do I care what, you know, at the time, I'm trying to think of, like, who were some of the, at the time, you know, when I was growing up, who were some of the celebrities and some of the music people? You know, they would go and get these people like Bon Jovi and these rock groups, Green Day, there you go, U2, and you know, Eminem even back then. And I remember thinking to myself, and this is me being a high school kid, why do I really care what these individuals' opinions are? Like, why does what they have to say move me in any kind of way? And I always felt as though it was goofy that there was even a such thing as celebrity endorsements. But what I came to eventually realize as I got older is I perhaps process information in a manner that is a bit different and in the minority from the rest of the population, which quite frankly doesn't really process information on a high vibrational level, and therefore does tend to get easily swayed by the words of someone whom they look up to in the celebrity space. I never really understood it. To this day, I still don't get it, but I'm not meant to. I don't process information that way. But somewhere in America, there is somebody or some people or several people, hell, maybe even several hundred or several thousand people, who saw Sexyy Red's post, especially if they're women, especially if they come from similar backgrounds as her, and they said, "Oh, I didn't even know that, you know, people were trying to tell me what I should do with my coochie." Of course, I want to be able to do whatever I want, however I want, whenever I want with my coochie. And if voting for her means that I can preserve my right to be able to do that, then that's what I'm going to do. Thank you, Sexyy Red, for giving me direction and showing me the light. I think that this is very bizarre thinking. It's a weird kind of thought process. I harken back to Dave Chappelle, my all-time favorite stand-up special ever. Dave Chappelle, For What It's Worth, where he talked about the Dixie Chicks, and this was back in 2004. The guy was just so ahead of his time with this stuff. And he talked about why people would care what the Dixie Chicks have to say. You know, and you know, part of the joke, he's like, well, why do you care so much what the Dixie Chicks say? It's not like they're political scientists. They're just, and I'll quote, bitches that can sing good, right? But be that as it may, there are a lot of people to whom that applies. Seeing the Dixie Chicks say, vote for this person means something. And as weird as it may seem to individuals such as you or myself or anyone else who might follow this channel, there are people who decided that they might want to give this voting thing a second thought, be spurred into action, be galvanized, because Sexyy Red warned them that if they don't follow suit, they might not have a say in what goes on with their coochies, which is being completely ignorant towards the actual policies and issues that are at hand with this situation. But That's the majority of the population, are people who don't really know that stuff. They don't really do the research or the education. But if they see someone in her position say something, they might be spurred into action. So I don't get it. I think it's bizarre. To those individuals out there who were moved to act thanks to Sexyy Red, um, I feel sorry for you guys. Hopefully, we can improve and do better as a society. But it looks like it's getting worse in terms of trends like this. And while I understand Candace's reaction, being dismissive as she was, because my reaction towards her is also dismissive. However, that doesn't mean that I am not cognizant of the fact that despite my dismissiveness towards people like Sexyy Red, there are nevertheless many people out there who, when they saw that, decided, I'm going to do something about this. And they have no one to thank for that but her. So I hope you guys are happy and proud. This is where we're at, as you like to say.
Yeah, man. And again, as I like to mention, bro, there was a lot of thought box rappers out there. Meg the Stallion, Sexyy Red, of course, that were out there promoting and endorsing Kamala. And so there's a certain demographic that they've really been targeting the majority of the time. I mean, their whole campaign for the most part has been centered around reproductive rights. And so this again falls right in line with it. She didn't mention nothing else outside of, you can't tell me what to do with my box.
Right.
But it's speaking on the same topic. And they cornered the market on all of these thought box rappers that we've been complaining about over the past year or so. Yeah, but here comes that party cornering the market and getting them all to say, hey, ladies that are out here talking all of this wild, salacious stuff, irresponsibility with your box, selling your box to the highest bidder, or anybody for that matter. And I know y'all might slip up and whoopsie daisy, and you can't have that because that's going to mess up your economy. That's going to take you off the market for a few months. Notice I only said a few months, okay? And then so we can't have that, and you can't have that, can you? So promote this to all of your young ladies that's within your community that predominantly listens to this stuff. And let's keep this alive or unalive, if you know what I'm getting at. And honestly, I don't care for that either. This whole angle that they're promoting to keep our women in this space of, our younger women in this space of being sex workers. And you can't really be a sex worker and have this whole thing where you can't go through that procedure. So these two go hand in hand, which is why they cornered the market. So the Glorrillas, the Sexyy Reds, the everybody in between, Cardi B, even though, Cardi B has be having her own family and stuff and, all of this stuff, but they still promote that same sell your box lifestyle. And so, hey, ladies, go out there and vote. But it's ladies that look a certain way and they fit a certain demographic. And I don't really care for that either. But hey, be that as it may, this has been the game that they've been playing this election cycle. That party has just been leaning into women, mainly women and other liberal types of people. And and this was their ace in the hole, man. This was their ace in the hole. So we'll see if any of this stuff pans out. As we're recording this live the day of apocalypse. We'll see the direction the country goes in, man. But right now, the celebrity worship, I do believe it's dying though. And to speak on what Candace Owens was doing, her tongue-in-cheek approach, I did see a lot of other people on the internet that were mocking and laughing at Sexyy Red, but not only her, the Jennifer Lopez's, that whole Cardi B fiasco. People aren't really buying celebrities, I believe, anymore. And honestly, this whole Diddy list situation has really highlighted how these people aren't worth worshiping, at least in the older cohort of people. So I think there is a transition going on in the masses where celebrity worship isn't really what it used to be. And I'm happy about that. But again, there's still a large majority of people who do idolize these individuals, might have had too much fluoride, but they still are out there, and that's who these people are supposed to be. Like the Sexyy Reds, they're supposed to be convincing those people who are still trapped in that bubble. But I think a lot more people are having that breakaway, and they're not so much trapped in that celebrity worship anymore. So I do have hope for the future when it comes to the masses, when it comes to these celebrities, because honestly, we're not the only ones that's hollering celebrity worship needs to die. I think that is a growing trend, and these types of endorsements will be more or less laughed at in the future than held as swaying, arguments. So I have my optimism's high, man. So I believe in the people, and I do think that celebrity worship is dying.
Well, if it were, that would make sense, because as palpable as celebrity endorsements were during our day, you didn't really have too many female rappers saying "my coochie pink, my booty hole brown"
Oh boy.
on songs. So I think it's the general degradation in terms of the content that is coming from these individuals that may be contributing to people deciding that they ought not be listened to as much. And if that were to happen, then that would help restore some faith in humanity for me, for sure. Because I am losing it slowly but surely by the day. So I hope you're right about that. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's a general overall downward trajectory in terms of the nature of the quality of the content that comes from these people. It's just kind of just deteriorated with each passing generation. And so perhaps that makes them not worth listening to as much. I like that idea. And, I hear what you're saying about what the DNC likes to do and some of the ideals that they like to cling to in order to get people on their side. And I'm not going to get too deep into it. I actually mentioned this on a previous topic that we discussed. So this is nothing new to anybody who's been following along with us here. But I think that there's a fine line. And I'm not like, look, I think everyone at the end of the day, I believe in free will. But as I said, I also believe in order. And I think that there is a such thing as believing in free will and believing in order at the same time. Like, life is nuanced. It's not black and white. We're not dealing with absolutes. You can believe in order, but believe in free will at the same time, as I do. And having said that, I believe that there is a fine line, okay, between right to choose and free will and wanting to have complete agency over your body, and just being able to be given a get out of jail free card because you can just do irresponsible living and then be able to get out of it, and not be held accountable for it just because you can. And I suppose that that's more of an existential societal observation. And maybe we need to have a larger conversation about personal responsibility and the need for people to actually take such a thing more seriously. But at the end of the day, I do believe that there is a fine line, and I think you know what I'm saying here. There's a fine line between personal responsibility, okay, and agency. And I think right now that line is being completely blurred politically. And we're essentially conflating those two concepts and suggesting to people that free will and agency over oneself and complete lack of responsibility and complete lack of responsible living are essentially the same thing. So I think people should keep that in mind, because they are not the same thing.
100, man. And ladies, look, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your box. All right. Just, you know what I'm saying? You can give it up to the streets if you want, man. You know what I'm saying? It belongs to the game. I get it. So if that's how you feel about your box, just keep giving it up. I'm not trying to tell you not to. So all the sexy red-ites out there, that's like she spitting facts. Keep giving up the box, man. You know, that's how the game go. Yeah. But me personally, I do think that street life has its negatives to it, and it catches up with you in the long run. So my whole thing is, if you like it, I love it, but I want you to sleep good at night, as I always say. And when you just keep giving it up like that, those voices haunt you, and that stuff haunts you at some point. So I just want you to not be haunted. So keep giving it up if you want, and keep having reproductive rights if you want, because even with that stuff haunts you too. So I'm just trying to make sure you sleep good at night. So have at it, ladies.
Yeah, I would say if those voices don't haunt you, there's something wrong.
I don't think it haunts Sexyy Red, bro.
If those voices don't haunt you, it's something wrong. That's all I gotta say about that. So good luck out there, all y'all Kamala voters. Good luck.